Mr. McCray,
Paul McCray, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Commissioners.
please talk into the microphone.
Honorable Mayor, Honorable Commissioners, just one moment, please.
We have seen in Baltimore should, indeed, I think does, tear at our soul. From Ferguson to Staten Island to Baltimore, the patterns have become unmistakable and undeniable. Walter Scott, shot in the back in Charleston, South Carolina. Unarmed, in debt, terrified of spending more time in jail for child support payments he couldn't afford. Tamir Rice, shot in a park in Cleveland, Ohio. Unarmed and just 12 years old. Eric Garner, choked to death after being stopped for selling cigarettes on the streets of our city. And now, Freddie Gray. His spine nearly severed while in police custody. Not only as a mother and a grandmother, but as a citizen, a human being, my heart breaks for these young men and their families. We have to come to terms with some hard truths about race and justice in America. There is something profoundly wrong when African American men are still far more likely to be stopped and searched by police, charged with crimes, and sentenced to longer prison terms than are meted out to their white counterparts. There is something wrong when a third of all black men face the prospect of prison during their lifetimes. And an estimated 1.5 million black men are, quote, missing from their families and communities because of incarceration and premature death. There is something wrong when more than 1 out of every 3 young black men in Baltimore cannot find a job. There is something wrong when trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve breaks down as far as it has in many of our communities. We have allowed our criminal justice system to get out of balance. And these recent tragedies should galvanize us to come together as a nation.
Thank you, Mr. McCray.
That was our First Lady, Hillary Clinton.
Thank you.
Thank you.
William McCray.
William McCray, Mayor, that was Hillary Clinton. You must be a Republican because you don't seem to espouse those same views. Just because you're an elderly white female, you cannot come in and make comments that are racist, disrespectful, condescending to the vast majority of black people in this country. The comments were at a minimum racist and at best from a woman who is suffering from ignorance of black issues or indifference to them. To come in this body and say you don't understand Ferguson, you don't understand New York, is disrespectful to millions of black people, white people, and Latino people who marched across this country demanding that the police departments change their practices. You also said there's outrage. Where's the outrage at young black males killing police officers? Are you serious or are you kidding? When and if a white officer is killed by any black person, justice is sure, sudden, certain, and severe, usually the death penalty. Fox News on steroids wouldn't even make the comments that she made in this body. You are a recipient of what is called white privilege. You don't have to worry about the police stopping you for no reason. You don't have to worry about the police beating you for no reason. You don't have to worry about the police shooting you for no reason. You don't have to worry about the same things done to your children, your friends' children, or your family's children. I wonder what you would say if there was an epidemic of police officers killing unarmed white youth in this country, beating unarmed white youth in this country, or choking unarmed white youth in this country to death. What would you say then? What would you say if a militarized police force in riot gear was patrolling neighborhoods for protesting things that most of the white community felt were injustices committed against them? You come from an area of Boston where a white man killed his pregnant wife and blamed it on a black man. The Boston police force then went on a rampage in black neighborhoods throughout the city, roughing up, beating, and harassing black men looking for a ghost suspect. There was no apology. Do you remember that? Mayor, when Sandy Makovich spoke, you were nodding your head in approval. Yes, you were. You were agreeing with the racist comments that were being made about the black community. You even said thank you for those comments. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I say that to you every week.
Not when I make racist comments, because I haven't done that.
I thank you every time you're here.
You need to explain yourself in your comments, Mayor, as to why you would be so supportive of such racist comments. She went so low as to state what Jesus looked like. Well, I would have her or anyone else read the King James versions where it says his feet was like brass and his hair was like lamb's wool. That clearly is not a description painted by Michelangelo. Normally, I wouldn't respond to ignorant and dumb comments about the black community, racist comments. But this had to be addressed in the realest and most truthful way. It is directly to the person who made the ignorant and racist comments, Sandy Makovich. Dr. King says, riot is the language of the unheard. Just remember the Bible says what they do to the least of you, they will eventually do to you and your people. So it's a disgrace and a shame that right now we only have one person above the rank of captain, of sergeant in the West Palm Beach Police Department.
Thank you for being here.